当有人问你 How are you? 或者是 How was your weekend? 你都会怎么说呢？那有两个我最常听到的答案就是 Fine and nothing much。但是呢，你会发现如果英文是母语的人，他们都会用一些不同的方式来形容很普通的事情。So, it's actually not about what you did, it's about how you tell your story.Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管双语沟通力的 Podcast。我们希望带给大家最实用的沟通工具，包括了成功人士对全球市场的分享、职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。Hi, I'm Sherry, founder of Executive Plus. As a language trainer and certified coach, I've trained hundreds of managers from Fortune 500 companies such as Dior, Google, Deloitte, and Yahoo!And
I'm Nick, Director of Communication Strategy at Presentality.I've helped startups raise millions of US dollars in funding and train the executives of publicly listed companies to present on the global stage.
Welcome to the Executive Plus podcast,
where you can take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast.Now, after a heavy series on how to rebuild your resume, we wanted to get back to something a little lighter and more fun. A lot of times, on Monday, the first question that people will ask you was, how was your weekend? Or what'd you get up to this weekend? And a lot of people get stuck with the most mundane questions. And there are some people out there who have a wonderful skill of just telling a story or a tale that sounds fantastic about how they just simply were out in their garden all weekend. And other people just tell you that they were in a coma, aka sleeping for 2 days straight.
Exactly. 那其实你会发现并不是每一个人都会做really exciting activity. We don't. That's the thing. That's life. We really don't have that many exciting things going on. 但是我发现我在美国工作的时候，我最怕每次礼拜一早上要开会的时候，因为我们都一定会 go around the room。每个人都会说how was your weekend? 然后我们就必须要 describe our weekend. 那我都会觉得說The weekend 超级无聊的，我根本没有做什么东西，只是洗洗衣服啊，做做饭啊，买个 grocery 啊，就 that's it。所以我都会很讨厌那个时候，我都会觉得自己好像没有什么东西可以 offer。But 当我仔细听我的 coworker 在形容他们的 weekend 的时候，你会发现说，其实他们也没在做什么 anything exciting， 他们只是在家带小孩啊，打电动啊，或者睡觉啊。But they have this wonderful skills of talking about really, really mundane, boring things and made it sound like a story that you can share.
So what we wanted to share with you today is just that. How could you start off answering that question in a way that's a little more interesting or allows you to get into telling a story, again, about something?Could be very mundane, very basic that everyone else did that weekend, but turn it into an worthwhile answer.
Exactly. 所以我们今天来 offer 给大家一些句型或者一些片语，让大家知道该怎么样来用不同的方式来描述一些最普通的事情。So let's say we want to kind of talk about your weekend as if it's a story. You can say, oh, it started off great, but ended with.
And then insert something that maybe was a little more intriguing. So for me, actually, this past weekend started off just fine, relaxing, doing a bit of work, but it ended up with a cockroach falling from my air conditioning and immediately pooping on my floor when he hit it.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting, but if someone was like, how was your weekend? Be like, it started off great. It ended up with a cockroach pooing on my floor.
Now for me, 因为我跟女儿她大概7岁，那大家都知道小孩子最喜欢在周末的时候非常早起床。不是1到5的时候，是周末的时候。So, I could just say, the craziest thing happened. My daughter slept in today till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and anyone else who is a parent will be like, that is nuts.
Or, have you had this happen to you where your kids wake you up at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday? You could say, have you had blank happen to you?
Have you had a cold dog nose shoved into your ear at 6 o'clock in the morning on the one day that you can sleep in? Right? This is pretty normal. Anyone who has pets have probably experienced this, but the way you phrase that story, it now becomes an interesting back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about carrying on that conversation. Again, 我们做这种 exercise 的时候，并不是要人家，最主要就是希望人家我们有一个 dialogue, 我们有一个 conversation, right? Create some kind of intrigue for the other person.
So you can also start with another statement like, I wouldn't say that it was bad, but, and then insert something like slightly off-putting, slightly problematic. Like, I wouldn't say it was bad, but staring at your ceiling all weekend, hoping that your roof isn't leaking, wasn't the best way I wanted to spend my weekend.
And that actually happened to you.
Yeah, that actually happens to me. Or I can say, as good as it can be expected with having to stop water leaks in my office.
Yeah, and then, immediately, 如果是我听到的话，我都说, oh my God, you have a leak? That's terrible. Yeah. So the conversation can just start.
Well, it's fine. I enjoy taking a swim on my way to my home office. So these are all, again, very basic things that no one would at the surface be like, wow, roof leaking? That's so exciting. I can't believe you got to do that. But by simply switching it up, you can kind of create a bit of intrigue and you can tell a story that sounds semi-interesting when someone asks you, how was your weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. 那如果你想要用另外一种方式 just to start a conversation, okay, it doesn't have to build a story. Just to answer their question with a conversation starter, you can just say, oh, I can't complain. I did cooking all weekend. Have you made this recipe before? Or do you have any suggestions to make this particular recipe?
It's like, I can't complain. I was cooking pretty normal recipes all weekend. Have you ever tried making Mexican food? Right? Just kind of mix it up and then turn the conversation around on them. Or you could say something like, oh, I was just stuck trying to clean the stains off of the ceiling in the bathroom from too much humidity. Do you have any advice on how to solve this problem?
Or I was stuck on cleaning the AC entire weekend. In fact, do you have any advice on doing that ourselves? Right. So another way you can do this, you can also say, didn't do much, but I was thinking about taking my cat out for a walk. Do you have any suggestions for a good harness?
Or I didn't do much, but I was really thinking about starting to do new types of exercise. Any suggestions for how to exercise at home? So it can be something where maybe that weekend you didn't do anything in particular and you're just looking for different ways to approach something.
So 我们今天讲到了你要怎么样形容一个非常普通的一件事情，你可以把它变成一个 story， 或者是你只是想把它变成一个 conversation, so asking the other person a question after you talk about your weekend.
Well, we hope that next Monday, when you get the dreaded question of, how was your weekend? You got a little better of an answer than, I slept the whole time, or, yeah, it was fine. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
如果你喜欢我们的 podcast, 欢迎来追踪我们的主管英文 Executive Plus 的 Facebook. 那也可以写信到我们的信箱 yourcareerplus@gmail.com.